Second big mistake was ideological in Washington, an aversion in the year 2001 to something called nation building. They said, that's social work. That was the phrase that was used. I'm a general, or I'm an assistant secretary of defense, or whatever. Social work. We don't do nation building. So when the time came to do nation building, which we've been doing for 5 years with great difficulty, we weren't prepared for it. Nor were we prepared for stabilization, reconstruction, all the things that were just announced last week that we're about to go into big time, 5 years later. This is, I say, ideological. This was an absolute theory of behavior. Okay? Palestine, again, people may be right when they say the Arab-Israeli conflict is what's poisoning the Middle East and making Iraq 10 times harder for the U.S. It's just fueling anti-Americanism. True. It's true. The Bush administration has now sent Condi Rice over with instructions to try to cut a deal between them. But something that I would call the ABC policy prevented that for 5 years. Anything but Clinton. And Bill Clinton has spent the last weeks of his lame duck career as president in a very Homeric effort to get a deal between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And maybe it was close, hard to say, if you look at the details. But this administration did not want to touch that. That was a Clinton thing. And I think that's quite scandalous myself. Fourth big mistake, Jerry Bremer, put in charge, replaced General Garner, who was treated quite shabbily after being put in charge. And Bremer, he still says that he had this confirmed in Washington, but I can't find where and who, because no one admits giving the order for this, dismissed the entire Iraqi army. 400,000 effectives were sent home with no money, no job, and their guns. Where are they now? In the militias, in the insurgencies, in the crime gangs, who knows? I mean, how big a blunder can you make? And the other one was de-Baathification, which didn't ever look up to see what was done in Germany in denazification, where you really had a limit. The point where you couldn't get a job sweeping the floor unless you were a member of the party. And that's true in the Ba'athist regimes, Syria, Iraq. But no, all Baathists out in the street. So they're now trying to pick up the pieces on that, but it's very late. Okay. Terrorism. We were told that this was an Al-Qaeda operation, then we were told that there were links, that there was a meeting in Prague. Well, no, there was no real connection. But that was one of the reasons given for going to war. Iraq has become a magnet for Al-Qaeda, for jihadists from Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. They've been pouring in. Who's guarding the borders? No one, because we don't have enough troops to do that.